It is time for the catch-up. Thanks to GWM. Have a look at this. The bracket for the women's run to the final for Gabriela Bryan, the #1 surfer in the world at the moment, showing incredible form.
Oh, she was just absolutely amazing throughout this whole event. She wore the yellow jersey coming in here, and you know what? She was pretty honest though throughout this event in these earlier rounds, like moving through the finals here, that she was making a couple of mistakes. There were obviously the beautiful moments, like the power gouges. In the post-heat interviews, she kept saying it. She's like, I just need to button up a few things, you know, go back to basics, and we did see her do that.
Yeah, peaking at the right moment all the way through to the final. You saw her talents rise to the occasion each and every time. Got herself out of trouble in a few of the earlier heats, and then when the start of the final hoot sounded, she was just on, laying down that 9.5, highest scoring wave tally of the entire event for her.
Unbelievable, and the best single ride of her career in the final, no less.
Yeah, the heat total was amazing, right? The final, she kind of, to peak in the final was a really hard thing to do. She obviously came up against Caity, who the two of them were sort of back and forth on that leaderboard the whole contest. You know, one would advance, one would take the yellow jersey, next, you know, back and forth, so super exciting all event. But Gabby just too good in the final coming up against Caity. Caity said it herself in the prezzo, you know, how can you beat that? I was witnessing both these waves go down, and, you know, it doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah, it was all power versus precision. The celebrations started to get underway as she made it to the beach, and a well-deserved champion of the event.
Most definitely, and a really difficult run through the quarters, through the semis, and then up against last year's world champion to keep her position on top of the women's rankings. And on the women's side, things got really interesting as we see Gabriela hoisting the trophy there, but not a whole lot of movement on the women's rankings when you think about the top 5. Below that, though, plenty of stories unfolding.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, Gabriela like kind of trying to make a run for it, really, with the only woman on tour with the 2 wins now. So a little bit of a breakaway for her, but lots of movement at the back end there. Obviously, for me, highlight was watching Erin, you know, the day unfold and her solidify her spot on tour for the back half of the year.
Really impressive stuff there from the women on the championship tour. Some great performances as we now go to the men's finals bracket, and it was a really strong field on finals day, lined up in the semis, but we're looking at Jordy Smith's run through to the final, and really it started with a tough heat with Imai Kalani de Volt in the quarters. That Imai needed a big result, Rich.
Yeah, Imai was surfing for his position on tour, needed to win the event, and Jordy just too strong as we see this power surfing on display. Almost mistake-free surfing through the entire event. Incredible heat management, and Jordy showing the emotion, which is great to see. 18 years on tour, and looking as strong and powerful as ever. Just cutting these deep pars, these deep, really rail-gauging power hacks through these Margaret River main break waves. It's just poetry in motion. Jordy just on point all through finals day.
Yeah, really impressive flick. The 18 years experience, it felt like on finals day it was really coming to the fore. He adapted beautifully in the dropping swell and found excellent waves still to overcome his opponents. Yeah,
there's no doubt about it that he leaned into that knowledge, the experience. The waves were super inconsistent. You know, we had a dropping swell, that incoming high tide, and you know, against Crosby, you know, Colapinto, brother #1, he took him down, and then again sort of applied that same knowledge that he learned from the semi-final against Griff in the final. And, you know, Griff was probably one of the most informed surfers of the event. Obviously the 10, the 9 over at the box, but George's just showing that experience prevailed today.
Too strong. Only the first time Jordy has had 2 wins in a year in his career. It's his 8th championship tour victory, and it's a result that's seen him ascend to the top of the championship tour ranks, dedicating the victory to Jack McCoy after learning of his passing on finals day morning. It was an emotional one for Jordy Smith. Have a look at where he sits now on this ladder. A above Italo, who had such a magic start to the year, in a really strong position heading into some contests where he's had some success.
Yeah, absolutely. The cut is done, and now we focus our intentions and our focus onto this final 5 situation. And so many competitors on this leaderboard are poised. We look at names like Jack Robinson, Philippe Toledo, Ethan Ewing, all vying for a spot in that final 5. We got some amazing events coming up, and it is going to be a full-on wrestle for points as we come into the back half of this season.
And it was a wrestle for points for the GWM Aussie Treble, and the trophy was a big one. A GWM Tank 300, and Jordy Smith in the end cracking the final, overtaking Kanoa Igarashi, and it was a must-win situation. The winner of the final here at Stop 7 was going to get the keys to the Tank 300.
Yeah, that was pretty exciting to watch, watch it all go down the final, but it was Jordy. Consistency. 2 quarterfinal finishes, quarterfinal bells, Burley, and then taking the win here at Main Break with just some beautiful power surfing, the adaptability, and yeah, the experience.
Yeah, it was a similar story. On the women's side, same results for Isabella Nichols, who had a big victory at Bells, kept that amazing form after a second place finish over in El Salvador, and yeah, obviously went on to collect some solid results in the last 2 events of the Aussie Treble as well to get herself a GWM Tank 300.
What an amazing initiative from the WSL and GWM, the Aussie Treble, the best of the 3. They rose to the top. Isabella Nichols, she has found some incredible form this whole year, and she is going to be a real threat in the back half of the tour as well.
Most definitely. We've got a rising star leading the women's ranks and the longest serving member on the men's ranks out in front.